It's Saturday, January 30th. Welcome to ASP Stuff Radio, the internet radio podcast whose host, Caustic Climacus, and his guests, Stephen and Paul Felice, have occupied the internet radio waves. But don't worry, the US government cannot see the color of our skin or even knows our ethnicity, so we won't be immediately shot or imprisoned. Happy Saturday, guys.
Oh, that was quite the intro.
Yeah.
We are proud to be on the run.
We are. But don't worry, we can go grocery shopping, we can buy water, supplies, and keep occupying federal territory.
You can run, but you can't hide.
We can run and talk with the FBI
Smoke them out.
Yoo-hoo!
There's no such thing as a white terrorist. That's poppycock.
Nah.
What are you thinking?
Absurd. It's a contradiction.
A white supremacist, right?
Nah.
Plenty of those around.
So we're going to discuss in some detail this whole Oregon occupiers arm.
So what's going on in Oregon?
You want to save that for later?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's save that for later.
Let's get right into the other stuff.
The meat of the show will be later, but let's do some like preliminary little small stories, nothing
Small talk.
trivial. Yeah, small
banter
talk. Yeah.
fodder.
Banter fodder before we get into the nuts and bolts.
Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
As they say out there in Iowa, you holy rollers.
You holy rollers. Holy rollers. So did anyone do some research? Oh man, I deleted the... I had I did some research about the smog and soot.
Sucking that soot.
I forgot about the sucking up soot, as they say it. You did do your research. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Hopefully Gita or Hanako chimed in.
Sucking in soot.
No,
You
gotta
might
get
die.
louder.
So I'm going to read here's an article from August 3rd, 2015, written by Lauren Rahab. President, so how bad was LA's smog when Barack Obama went to college here? President Obama attended Occidental College in LA from 1979 to 1981. His memories are full of smog.
Sucking in soot.
So how bad was it? According to historic ozone data collected by the South Coast Air Quality Management District, it was pretty bad. In 1979, the air quality failed to meet modern standards for 234 days of the year. In 1980, it was 210 days, and in 1981, 227. Smog was a big issue. The Los Angeles Times even had a dedicated beat. And then they showed pictures of the smog and a news clip of how bad the soot was. And there's a quote from that news clipping. Eye-searing, throat-burning smog smothered the Los Angeles area in a bourbon-colored blanket, the Times front page said, September 14th, 1979, as Obama was starting his first year at Occidental. So there were 7 straight days of stage 2 alerts indicating ozone 3 levels time as high as what was then the federal standard. The air quality particularly harmed people with diseases such as asthma and emphysema, sending scores of them to hospitals, but they were far from the only ones affected. Schools kept children from going outside and, quote, all doctors advised even healthy adults to stay indoors.
You might die.
So,
Da.
So Obama wasn't lying. He was just having an off day. Sounding...
Yeah, just kind of.
He was tired.
Yeah.
Hesitant, probably tired from flying back and forth from around the world.
In
Sucking in that soot. It
Yeah.
was just too much.
Yeah.
Probably bad memories.
Very bad.
So he was telling the truth then.
Yeah. All right. There we go. So we
And
said,
it's not that bad right
Difference.
now. So, I mean, I'm okay. I'm not sucking in soot over here.
you're sucking in other particulates, though.
Yeah. Like methane.
Methane. You're sucking in cow farts.
A lot of methane thanks to Porter Ranch.
Yeah.
So how did they decrease, the pollution, the smog in LA?
Didn't he say something about catalytic converters, whatever that is?
That I think is a something you install on cars so that they don't exhaust out as many particulates.
Okay.
I'm assuming. I don't know. I got to look it up, but that helps, but
Helps somewhat.
Yeah.
there's a lot of cars out in the road over here in LA. There's also other things. There's also other things though that contribute to that.
So the catalytic converters, they prevent the exhaust from polluting the air. Is that or making
They help.
Okay. So why don't they install some kind of a pollutant blocker inside the anuses of cows so that the farts don't release methane?
I don't think you can do that.
It's a little more difficult to install one.
I don't
in
know
the
who's going
speaker.
to volunteer for that job.
Well, if they're
turkey inseminators,
If they have turkey inseminators, they should have cow butt probers.
I think the methane's more from the manure. So you can't prevent a cow from exhausting its waste.
But you can turn that waste into energy, right? A different form of energy.
Cleaner form. Yeah. Maybe.
Somehow, maybe there's somebody out there working on it to dump all that dump into some converter and out comes energy.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a Mr. Fusion from Back to the Future. You can dump all your cow manure and power your cars.
It's true, but why would why would we want to do that when
ask about this.
all the billionaires, they're making billions off of fossil fuels?
Of what?
Why?
Fossil fuels?
Yeah. And cow manure.
Oh, so they don't want... Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. I mean, they're going to milk this pollution as much as they can.
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen if every car in LA was an electric car, though. Like, would that change things a lot?
In terms of air quality or profiting the businesses, the corporations?
Both. Well, both. I don't know.
If they could find a monetary incentive, they would probably endorse electric vehicles, or if they find any ways of making money from it, then.
But you got to look at what Ross Perot would do.
What
Ross Perot has.
Well, you're breaking up. This is what. Start
his pie charts.
Start over again.
Low.
Sounds like you're being auto-tuned.
Yeah, I think the government's trying to disconnect you from podcasts.
You're manipulating your voice.
It could be.
Start over.
What was that? You said Trump was great? What?
No.
Trump was the best, huh?
Isn't that what came out? No, you have to look at a pie chart and look at how much of soot is coming from cars, how much soot is coming from cows, how much soot is coming from boats or producing oil or other things, right? Mm-hmm. Refining oil. It's not just cars.
Mm-hmm.
So break out a pie chart. Maybe there's another fact finding we could do. How much percentage of pollution out there is coming from cars?
Or the vinyl records from all those damn bearded hipsters.
Yeah.
Right. It's a lot of oil. A lot of oil made just to make a little record, vinyl.
Yeah, I don't think the majority is coming from vinyl. Maybe a little percentage, but not the whole thing.
Did you guys watch the debates?
Well, Trump wasn't in one of them, so that doesn't count. Why would anybody watch that?
Yeah, I didn't watch it either.
Yeah, I watched some of it. It was much more toned down. Everyone seemed to get along a little bit better. Plus, it was mediated by
Rubio
Fox
and Cruz.
News.
Rubio and Cruz were at it.
They have to be at it. That's
part
of their objective because they're competing for Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. That's coming up this Monday, right? The caucus.
So what is a caucus?
What is a caucus?
Do we know? Can somebody look up?
Does anyone know? Do we have an expert here to tell us about a caucus?
We need NPR to tell us what a caucus is.
I don't have that clip.
So it's kind of like a presidential primary election or mini version of it, where they reduce the candidates down to a select few. I don't know.
I guess there's winners and losers of a caucus. And then the person that wins, they are closer to becoming the Republican candidate or the Democratic candidate.
Yeah. So it's basically giving an idea of what to expect for November.
Yeah, and I think they're probably determined.
And Iowa's a good
say you win Iowa, you get the same number of electoral votes as you would if you're running for president, I would assume. Do we know about the electoral college or numbers or votes?
Oh, that's current right now?
Well, what each state is worth.
Oh, no. I don't know.
You don't know that? No.
Not
Like
off the top of-
California, I think, is worth probably the most. Yeah. Just because it's the highest population.
Right. But Iowa's one of the first states where they do it, right? And then they go to California and New York.
Iowa's the first, and then it goes to Vermont. Right.
Yeah. Oh, there's a... Go ahead.
So CNN defines the caucus, at least the Republican one, it's a meeting that begins with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then activists get straight to the main event, selecting their presidential candidates in a binding vote. Each campaign gets the chance to have a representative make a final pitch to any wavering voters before a secret ballot. Some caucus sites might use a printed ballot. Others just go with the candidate's name on a scrap of paper. Raw totals of votes are tallied by local party officials and sent to Iowa GOP headquarters where a running count is kept. So it sounds very sophisticated.
And complicated, confusing, archaic even. I mean...
That's it's very old. Like, this is just write on a piece of paper. Somebody, you're a party official. Here, you count these.
Here's a little pencil. The number 2 pencil. There's a little pencil sharpener in the back. Oh, my pencil that broke.
Well, that's the Republican caucus.
They do the Pledge of Allegiance at least.
Yeah.
The Democratic caucus, they have hoverboards
that burn up. I read somewhere that the caucus for the Democratic Party is dramatic. The way that they do it's very dramatic. I don't know.
We'll have to find out.
So with the Democratic one, they say as soon as the meeting's open, attendees declare a preference for a candidate. Typically, backers of each presidential hopeful stake out positions around the room. They physically stake out positions. People who still can't make up their mind join a group known as uncommitted. This is where it gets complicated. In order to be considered viable, a group must clear a certain threshold, usually around 15% of the entire caucus turnout in each precinct. So once first-round votes are tallied, anyone stuck in a group that is not viable, that hasn't met that threshold, they have a chance to align with a candidate who has passed the threshold.
It is heretic.
Very complicated.
What is precinct? Precinct again?
Precinct?
Yes, we have a.
I think each state has a defined set area where they count votes.
Oh, like a city,
that area,
like a district of a city, like a like a church.
Okay.
Right.
Or I don't know, some place in the library.
The thing that I don't understand is who attends, who's allowed to attend these, and make the votes.
And abulum.
Terrorists? I'm sorry. Why are terrorists allowed? And
why don't they? Taxes and voting should be a much more simpler process. Why is it so goddamn complicated? They have American Idol where you just pick up the phone, dial the number who you want to win, and that's it.
Yeah, but that's going back to the Motley Fools. Why is investing so complicated?
They want to keep you in the dark. They want you to be ignorant.
Exactly.
They don't want you to be in control.
So in the State of the Union address, Obama, that's what he touched on toward the end, was election reform and saying we need to find a way to make voting much more simpler and more current with the times.
Oh, yeah, that was Obama at the State of the Union. Yeah, I remember that.
It should be like that. You should be able to just go on a website like election.gov.
Oh no, the internet. It's
click
not
on
very safe.
It is heretic.
And there you go.
The internet is not safe.
It is heretic. It is
They
heretic.
want you to put all your information there, and then they're going to steal it.
Like
Facebook?
Just this past year or last November, I got in the mail the registrar of voters sent a message saying, "Oh, if you want to receive the election materials through your email, just fill this out and send it back." Like, that's where we're just getting to the point where they can send you materials over email.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's pretty good. They're
We're about 20
baby
years
steps.
behind the
50,
times.
100 years from now, the process will be a notch better than what it is now. Slightly better. So here's a clip that I found. Susan Sarandon, where she gets very emotional. Oh, she almost cries. She's the actress. I don't know if you guys know her.
Yeah.
She's who is she?
The redhead, older actress.
Old redhead lady.
Yeah, she
That's
was
in like almost every other movie.
and she's a supporter of Bernie Sanders. Here's a clip of her.
You know, everybody realizes that we're being run by a machine, by Wall Street, by Big Farm, by Monsanto, by many big, boo. Change is difficult. And what this man is asking of us is to be the machine now. I give you Bernie Sanders.
Whoa, she's in tears.
Yeah.
Why is she in tears?
Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders.
It's very emotional.
Yeah.
You should. I sent you a clip of
Bernie
I don't know if you saw it.
Well, he represents a revolution.
Yeah.
You know,
The old grandpa is going to revolutionize
the
our
old
country.
grandpa you wish you had.
So, Paul, you send me
I
something?
sent you a clip of a little girl's reaction to Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, I
You should
think
play that.
I think I heard about that. Or a little kid. There's actually little kids supporting
Yeah.
Trump.
I wonder if she has a southern-like accent, possibly.
I support Trump. Donald Trump. Here's a clip from Cruz.
You are a blasphemer. You are a blasphemer.
Blasphemer?
A,
Isn't
Is
that a word?
a blasphemer.
that's a bone. That's a bone, right?
This is where you're right.
That was Cruz.
Cruz.
Blasphemous
I'll tell you
person
something.
or blasphemer?
Guess what we're going to do Monday?
What?
We are going to see Donald Trump in person in New Hampshire.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my word!
Are you excited?
Yes!
You get to go see him in person, not just on TV.
Thank you, Mom!
Aww! Are you excited?
Yes!
Do you want to meet him? Tell Mr. Trump you want to meet him.
I love you, Trump!
Oh shit.
Can I meet you, Mr. Trump? Ava is excited.
Wow.
So we're going Monday. You excited?
That sounds like Sarah Palin.
That's a little kid.
That's one of Sarah Palin's daughters.
Let's be fair and objective and honest. You know, Trump's got some good arguments, good points, and he wants to make our country great. And he's got awesome hair, and some little girls are very
He's
inspired by
appealing
this.
to the 12-year-old demographic.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, how could he not sympathize for this old
The
white
One
Republican?
Direction audience, that's who he's appealing to.
Yeah,
Well, you have two types of people that have defected from the institution and the establishment. Right? There's an institution and establishment. So people that are Republican but don't like the bureaucracy, they favor Trump because he allows bigotry. Now, with Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton and her ball droppings represents an institution, right? And she's going to defend that institution, but not Mr. Sanders, right?
Mr. Sanders wants to overthrow Walmart and big corporate America, big banks.
Yep, but the institution believes that you can't, and it would be devastating to the working man and woman.
So
yeah.
But how does a little girl break down in tears for Donald Trump. That's what I don't understand. That's
Well, it depends who's been talking to her and influencing on her short years here on the planet Earth.
So her parents,
possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's staged. They just wanted to get a lot of hits on YouTube, and they told their daughter to go crazy when they tell her about Trump. Maybe Trump paid them off.
Yeah, maybe.
Get some attention.
You'll get your frozen doll figures if you cry for Trump. Alrighty. So let's get to our meat and potatoes. Unless there's something else you guys like to add or subtract or divide or multiply.
Nah.
Got
to get to the potatoes.
All right, let's get to the potatoes. All right.
Okay.
So here's the Bend, Oregon, a group of white guys invade.
Well, does it matter?
Federal land.
Go with color. Why do we have to divide people into race, ethnicity, color? Can't we just say people invaded Oregon?
Okay, so people invaded Oregon. They invaded the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge outside Burns, Oregon. Okay, this is a federal land, federal property that's worth more than $10,000. Now, what was it? Earlier this week, one of the leaders was shot and killed by the FBI.
Didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Oh,
Did not know that.
All right, let's play some. Let's see. Do you want to? I got a lot of clips here. Let's play the ABC report. Here we go.
Major developments now in that weeks-long standoff in Oregon between armed anti-government protesters and law enforcement. Overnight, police making more arrests as one of the jailed leaders calls on remaining militants to stand down and go home. ABC's Neil Karlinski is in Burns, Oregon with the very latest on all of that. Good morning to you, Neil.
Amy, good morning. Even though it's harder than ever to get a handle on exactly what's going on out there on the compound, we do know one thing for certain. Their numbers are seriously beginning to dwindle. This morning, jailed militant leader Ammon Bundy speaking out through his attorney and making an about face, telling his remaining supporters holed up on federal land to give up and go home.
I love you. Let us take this fight from here. Please stand down.
Overnight, the FBI taking into custody 3 more protesters, each facing 1 federal felony count of conspiracy. Police tightening their grip on the remaining militants, now sealed off by heavily armed FBI SWAT teams at roadblocks 8 miles out, as we found out when approaching.
We can't let anyone through this way.
Police spoke out Wednesday, but gave no details about how Oregon occupier Lavoy Finicum ended up shot to death by law enforcement following a traffic stop and sweeping series of arrests along a rural road. The action leaving the occupation's leadership behind bars, but at a deadly price.
It didn't have to happen. We all make choices in life. Sometimes our choices go bad.
The group's supporters claim Finicum was murdered while surrendering.
They shot Lavoy, literally murdered him, and was ambushed.
But an alleged witness in the convoy with the militants says that's not what happened.
He charged after law enforcement. He was not on his knees. That was a miscommunication.
This morning, investigators here are still sorting it all out and conducting a full investigation. Meanwhile, out at the compound, we have reports of perhaps as few as 5 militants left, raising hopes that this long siege could soon be over.
Okay, so the leader was shot. The leader was shot and killed. Now, people are criticizing this event by saying that Lavoy, the leader, was surrendering, and he wasn't posing any harm or threat to the FBI agents, but they killed him anyway.
So I don't understand what happened here. Who started all this mess?
Well, it's basically this particular, whatever you want to call it, militia group.
So the way that,
they're taking a stand, right, to say that this is their land. It should not be federal property. people own their own land. They stake out their claim and they own their land.
Right. So
why should the government try to intrude?
Right. So these white people, or what the NBC News reporter referred to them as, armed anti-government protesters and law enforcement, or militant leaders, or quote occupiers. These white people invaded federal land property that was established by FDR Roosevelt many, many, many years ago. And they want
a wildlife refuge?
Yeah, wildlife refuge. And they want in Oregon. They want to use the land for hunting, fishing, raising cattle,
smoking them out,
whatever they want. They feel like, hey, we're Americans. We have the right to property. This is our land. Why should the government, own this land? Why does it belong to them and not the American people? Now, what's interesting is that this land once belonged to the Indians, in particular the Paiute tribe. And they were forced out of the land more than 50 years ago, maybe it's, 100 years or so. Mm-hmm. They were forced out of their land. The government pushed them away. And they gave them only like maybe 10 acres of land near the city dump. And the white people who are occupying this land poses an inconvenience and an annoyance for the Paiute tribe. And no one seemed to give a shit about that. Now that
was a long time ago.
Yeah. Now here's a clip I found. Here's a story that kind of sums it up in 3 minutes or less. Let's see. About, whose land does this belong to? Is it the native Paiute tribe, or is it the white people or the federal government?
The armed guys over at the refuge are saying the government needs to give them back the land. What do you say?
I think it's hilarious because it was never their land to begin with,
Every person that has a claim, let them have a voice.
Whose land is it anyway?
We the people of the United States of America. This is all our land.
It belonged to the Indians. They was here first. The white man come in and run them off.
53% of Oregon is federal land. Armed men occupying the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge are demanding the federal government transfer it to local control for ranching, mining, and logging. Meanwhile, leaders of the Burns Paiute tribe say it's their ancestral land and that the federal government is managing it properly.
All this debate over the land has brought me here to the Burns Paiute Native Reservation. I'm here to ask a tribal member what she thinks about it all. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Come on in.
Well, this is the home I grew up in, and also the cradle board that I was put in.
You guys make these?
Yeah.
What do you make them out of?
These are made out of willows.
And this willow, is this from the refuge?
The refuge.
Where the occupation's taking place now?
Correct.
The timing of all this, when you look at the history, is pretty crazy. I read that 137 years ago this month, your ancestors were forced out of that same land where the refuge is today.
The U.S. Cavalry were the ones that marched us off and shot our people. We were shot, killed. Those who were sick or fell behind were shot and left for dead. A lot of us didn't make it.
Ancestors of the Burns Paiute once roamed all of southeastern Oregon, but fierce battles over land were sparked once settlers moved in. In the 1870s, Paiutes and other tribes were forced onto the Malheur Reservation. Later, under pressure from settlers, President Grant opened up a portion of Malheur Lake to the settlers. The tribes revolted. They lost the war and were marched off the reservation to Washington state. In 1908, with the native bird population dwindling because of overhunting, President Theodore Roosevelt made the area a wildlife refuge. In 1928, a land company gave the landless Burns Paiute 10 acres of former city dump. The reservation has since grown, but only a third of the tribe survived the land battles. Today, Sarah tells me there's about 420 members.
They tried to exterminate us, but you know what? We're still here. And we are victors. We're survivors, and we always will be.
You Your tribal leaders have said that these men are desecrating your sacred sites and that they need to leave. Do you agree?
I agree with my tribal leaders. There are a lot of archaeological sites out there and burials that, they may not know that they are disturbing.
Do you think any good has come from this whole situation?
I think it is too early to tell. I believe it's just brought attention to the injustices to the ranchers, this community, and especially the Burns Paiute tribe, and how they call it their land. And really, I believe it belongs to no one. In my belief, there should be no fences, boundary lines.
Okay.
So the Indians want it back.
Well, first of all, it's an Indian reservation, and the government took control of it for the wildlife. But these white occupiers are claiming that it's their land, that it belongs to them, and they want the government to forfeit that land so they could use it for their hunting and fishing and cow raising, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't see why the Indians and these white guys get together and say, hey, government, give us our land back.
Well, they don't want that. They don't want the natives to have the land.
Yeah,
they want the land.
Yeah, they don't get along with brown folk. Let's put it that way. Right.
So that's the ironic thing is they're bringing up land ownership issues, and it's just bringing attention to the fact that it really doesn't even belong to them.
Yeah, but they're so immersed in their own ignorance that they don't even know that. Or maybe they do, but they're in denial.
They probably do. They just would rather not care, right? So, I mean, they have guns, right?
Yeah.
Might is right. White is right.
White is right.
Might, yeah.
Yeah, and then I pulled a clip from one of the tribal leaders of the Paiute tribe. They gathered weeks after the quote-unquote occupation. I noticed they don't use invasion, right? They avoid these harsh terms with white people. They say it's very soft, and they downplay this quote occupation as if it's just a casual thing that these white guys just stumble upon this land. And
well, they're sophisticated people. They have this well-coordinated effort here to occupy land. It's not an invasion. It's not some terrorist act. They really know what they're doing. Their structure, you can negotiate with them.
No.
In the 1800s, didn't they settle? They settled. Settlers.
Oh yeah, they settled there. They didn't.
They claimed ownership.
Shoot and kill,
peacefully
rummage.
Settled.
Yeah, they settled. They debated. They had a nice dialogue.
Yeah. Remember the first Thanksgiving? Who was Indian chief?
Wantanangabongo.
Yeah. And, that was all.
And then Christopher Columbus, and they shook hands. They played some cards. Shared a few beers.
That's probably what really happened.
Quietly, nicely, rationally discussed, where they should live and where the white people should live. And
well, I think Native Americans way back when they thought the land belonged to everyone as well, right?
Yeah. Well, some people agree. They think that the land belongs to everyone. There's no boundaries among human beings.
But that's what the militants are saying. This land is your
land. This land is my land.
Yeah.
But But isn't that what the militants were saying? The land belongs to the people. Land belongs to everybody.
Well, the militants.
They're peaceful. They're peaceful Americans.
Oh yeah. I'll have a clip. That's another. We'll talk about that soon. But here's a clip from one of the tribal leaders. His name is Jarvis Kennedy.
Good morning, my name is Jarvis Kennedy, Burns Paiute Tribal Councilman. I got a question for the world out there, because all the eyes are on this little tribe here. What if it was a bunch of natives that went out there and overtook that, or any federal land? What would the outcome be? You think about that. What would happen? Would they let us come into town and get supplies and re-up? Tell them, asking them. Think about that.
All right, let's think about that. So what if you, me, and Paul decided to quote-unquote occupy federal land?
Well, first we got
with guns.
Take a look at our down and see what color we are.
All right, we're brown.
All right, now, then you got to think about how the media would portray this. And we go back to a few of our shows. A couple of a party kind of went bad, you know? But we're brown, so it's more like rioting. We're rioters.
I mean, suspected terrorists invaded land in Oregon.
Actually, yeah, we'd probably be terrorists.
Government.
Exactly.
So we wouldn't be rioters; we'd be terrorists.
Police officials quickly surrounded the area, contained it, and shot the invading participants.
Right. Exactly. So
we're looking right now to see if there's any terrorist connections. So far, there are multiple leads.
Exactly. There you go.
They're suspected of being affiliated with ISIS.
The language would change. It would go harsh. We would be called terrorists. We're part of a terrorist organization. We're invaders. People would protest. They would be outraged. Mm-hmm. They'd be fearing their lives. We pose a threat, and the issue would be solved within 24 to 48 hours. But
and there'd
these
be
guys,
internment camps. They'd start putting up internment camps.
Yeah, then it would turn this whole issue into, don't let these people of a certain religion, we got to ban them while we figure out what's going on.
But they did shoot the leader, right?
After
How did that happen?
3 weeks, they decided to kill one of them. Now, my theory...
Oh, well, the witness said he charged after them. Remember?
Yeah, well, there's video clip of that whole situation. The FBI released that several days ago, and it's hard to tell from a helicopter point of view what really went on. But it kind of seems like he wasn't arming himself; he was willing to surrender. And then one of the FBI agents came around from one of the trees, and he just shot him.
Oh, well, then it wasn't peaceful.
But
I mean, he was trying to be peaceful.
Right. Here's my theory, though. In light of the recent events with black people being shot and killed when they didn't pose a threat to these police officers, I think they need to show America, hey, you know what? We also kill white people when they don't pose a threat.
This is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's
get more attention, more momentum for change in how officers treat these things.
Yeah. Well, that was my conspiracy theory about when Obama got elected. They allowed a black man to get elected, but then they show that it was his fault that the country is in shams. Mm-hmm. So now we got to get order back. It's all conspiracy, right?
So here's a clip of the guy that got shot, one of the leaders of this, quote, militia group. There's a video of them talking to the camera while they're inside the federal building that stored the native artifacts.
Hey guys, what's up? Blaine Cooper. I'm here with Lavoy Finicum, and what are we doing, Lavoy?
Okay, what it is, Blaine, is that we're concerned about the way artifacts have been stored here, the Paiute artifacts, and so we're reaching out to the Paiute tribe to say we need to open up some communication. We're looking for a liaison because we want to make sure that these things are returned to the rightful owners and that they're taken care of. So
now, from what I understand, these are their artifacts?
These are some of the artifacts. We want if you step back, I want to show you how we found these things stored here. So you can see there's boxes of artifacts here. You can see there's some rat's nest in here. This is the way we found it. Yeah. And you see there's grinding stones, different things here.
There's projectile points. So the way I understand it, that the BLM or whoever was in charge of these native artifacts just kind of boxed them up and let them just rot down here.
Yes, and for example, let's see, do we have any dates on these things?
Yes, we do, sir.
What's the date on this one here?
This one is 89, I believe.
Okay, 1989. So we have these artifacts from 89, 99, 2020 some odd years. They've just been sitting down here. So my question is why do they just keep them down here?
Yeah, don't they belong to the natives?
Yeah,
the rightful owners.
Why are they locked away here for nobody but for them to look at whenever they come down here? this needs to be taken care of. And so we're reaching out to the Paiute people in as sincere manner as I can. Please, let's open up a dialogue. Come get a representative. Come here and let's start talking face to face, and let's make sure that we take care of the heritage of the Native American people, and any concerns that they may have, so that they can voice them, so that we can hear that. Any claims that they may have upon the lands, let's begin that dialogue. So, but like I said, this is just some of them here. If you'll come over here, you will see other boxes. Just this is the way we found it.
Sir, I believe this is evidence. That's why I didn't touch anything. But these are our U.S. Department of Interior projectile points from 1980.
So they're sitting here from 1980, just sitting in the tops of boxes like this. This is how the Native Americans' heritage is being treated. To me, I don't think it's acceptable. Let's get this thing cleared up. And let's start having this dialogue. So again, just starting this dialogue, and we want to be respectful as possible of everybody. So thanks. That's what I just want to show you.
So yeah, guys, so get this video shared around. I can get it uploaded for you, and make sure this gets to the Paiutes, and that the U.S. government and BLM has taken their artifacts and they're wasting away down here in rat infestation and cobwebs, and
35 years they've been sitting
35 years is poorly treated, and the rightful owners need to come back and claim their belongings.
So how would you interpret that?
That was a staged video.
Sounds reasonable. Willing to negotiate, work with the natives, give them what rightfully belongs to them.
There's a couple of scraps of straw and a Starbucks used cup from 1989, and a couple of other artifacts like paper plates. But that's their rightful belonging. I'm really trying my hardest to get it back to them.
Man, yeah.
And I want to open up this dialogue. There's a lot of good trash and artifacts out here that they deserve to have back.
Yeah,
and,
they need to come. They need to get their asses here, pick up their shit, and get the fuck out of here, so we can take over. That's what they're saying.
But I'm really opening up a dialogue.
No,
I am. I'm opening it up.
All right, so here's a dialogue. Hey, thanks for giving our stuff. Now get the fuck out of our goddamn reservation.
But I'm opening it up, open arms.
So imagine a group of white occupants who invade your home. Knock and walk into your apartment, occupy your room, and they start saying, "Hey, I noticed all your stuff is just lying around here. There's rats nests, and I think you need to come and get it, and get out."
We don't. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what he would have said if anybody actually was able to talk to him about it, but I'm sure it was more to try to get people to sympathize with his, what he wanted. He wanted to take that land away from the federal government. So trying to appeal to the natives, he thought that would help. But yeah, if they came and actually talked to him, that's probably what he would have said. It was, okay, here's your stuff. Now kind of want to take over all this land, but you have your plot, that dump.
Yeah, near the dump. So get the 10 acres, we get the 250.
The clip did talk. The previous clip had a few Paiutes interviewed, right? And they said that we don't want them around.
Yeah, So let me. I didn't finish the Jarvis Kennedy, his little announcement about here's how he feels.
Let us come into town and get supplies and re-up. Tell them that. Ask them. Think about that. We as Harnett County residents don't need some clown to come in here and stand up for us. This community is hardworking. Everybody, we make something out of nothing here. We don't got no jobs there. But we don't need them to back us up. We survived without them before, and we'll survive without them when they're gone. So they just need to get the hell out of here. Sorry. But because we didn't ask them here. We don't want them here. They say they don't want to bother the community. But you know what? Our little kids are sitting at home right now when they should be at school. They're jeopardizing and scaring our people around here. So that's the question I got for you. And to correct Cecil here, we weren't removed. We were killed and ran off our land, marched in snow out there. Hundreds of miles to forts. When they finally let us go, we didn't have no place to go. Our land was already taken. They gave us 10 acres at the city dump. Think about that. Think about those little kids back in the day marching home. Those elders. You know, would you want to be out there? Walking, marching? We don't need these guys here. They need to go home, get out of here. Because we as Arnagammon people can stand on our own feet. We have our own rights. And we're hardworking people. Thank you.
All right.
So, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what we all thought, right?
Yeah. Just wanted people to know, to be clear.
Yeah. But that's not out on mass media. You're not going to watch that on Fox. You're not gonna
they don't have that.
Yeah. They don't have those clips.
They don't voice the opinions of the Paiute tribe. They don't give a shit about that. Not at all.
And that's not going to make a headline. That's not going to draw anybody's attention.
No.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it?
It's depressing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's very depressing. And on top of that, they portray these white guys like they're, a peaceful group. Oh, poor guy. The leader was shot and killed. He was trying to do something for our country. He was expressing his rights and freedoms. They're not terrorists. That's what I don't get. Why don't they call these...
Well, they didn't kill anybody, did they?
No, but look, if it, like I said, if it was black guys, Middle Eastern people wearing towels around their head, if they so much as walked on federal land, they would be out of there. I mean, the white militia group were even talking to FBI agents. They were okay with letting them be there.
Yeah.
It's illegal to occupy any kind of federal land that's worth more than $10,000. And on top of that, here's a clip. All right, you tell me what you think. If you should classify one of the members of the white militia, one of the militants, here's a reaction to one of the leaders getting shot and killed. Here's a reaction to one of the members of this group. And you tell me what you think, whether or not you think we should classify these as people who are terrorists or, crazy.
So first, here is video released by militiamen in Oregon when they find out that one of their own has been killed in a shootout with the police.
Media has been ordered to leave. That means they're coming to kill us, and they don't want them to see that. They're going to murder all of us, and the medias are cowards. Stay and show the truth! Show the truth! Media's been waiting for a bloodbath this whole time we've been here. Now there's going to be one and they're running. They're told to run because the feds don't want to know who's murdering us. American people better wake up, get here, and fight for your country. Right now, it is on.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when the militia comes after you, FBI?
All you military that's been fighting for your country overseas, you can fight for your country right here in America. Get here. Get some. This is history in the making. There are no laws in this United States now. This is a free-for-all Armageddon. Any Leo or military or law enforcement or feds that stand up and fuck their oath, don't abide by their oath, are the enemy. If they stop you from getting here, kill them!
Okay. Is that not a threat?
That's a terrorist act.
Right? I mean, This guy's a fucking crazy terrorist.
Yeah, and here's the other news for everybody. This is not the only militia group out in the boonies claiming their own stake of land, by the way. So this one seemed to have caught fire out in the media, but there are a lot out there. There's one in Riverside, not too far, about 70 miles east of here. They call themselves the Freemen. Okay. And they stake out a claim, and they kill cops. And they doesn't get out of the media. I know this because my boss, he does part-time for the Riverside Police Department, and he tells me about these people. So this is an example of one of many militant groups out in the boonies that like to do this.
Right. Okay. But the point is that racism is alive. And if you're white, you get good treatment. You're treated like royalty.
Yeah. It's been going on,
but this is a clear example of how if you're a right-wing white guy, then you're not called a terrorist. You're just an occupier, and you're part of a militia group who's fighting for their rights. And if you are left or brown or both, then you are anti-American. You are part of a terrorist organization. You want to overthrow the government. And there you go. If it was a bunch of black guys, they would be shot and killed within 24 hours. That's it. Done deal.
Well, that wouldn't be terrorists. They would be gangs.
Or gangs, yeah. Part of a gang or
rioter.
Yeah, if you're not Middle Eastern, then you're part of a gang.
All right. Well, we beat that one up.
I should ask all those militia guys who they're voting for.
Might
be if anyone's voting for Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton.
Ben Carson, definitely. Ben Carson, without a doubt.
No, they would say they don't vote. They'd say they'd shoot him up.
Shoot him up, round him up, and shoot him down. Yeehaw. Depressing. Very depressing.
On that note, that
said,
cock-a-doodle-doo. Well, let's
we could do deGrasse.
Yeah, let's do some deGrasse. Lighten things up a little bit.
Yeah, just do take too long here, but yeah.
So what's the story, Stephen, with deGrasse?
I don't know much of the backstory there, just that this B.O.B. rapper believes that the world is flat, and he has pictures.
What does B.O.B. stand for?
Not sure.
Barbecue over broccoli.
So barbecue cool, over broccoli believes that he has...
Or broccoli over barbecue. That seems more.
He has photographic evidence, and he took it from, I guess, pretty far away that it looks like the horizon is flat.
Well, there is an actual organization where people still believe that the Earth is flat. Flat Earth Society. Yeah.
Okay. If you go to maybe B.O.B. is their spokesperson.
Yeah. So if you go to the website flatearthsociety.org, there's an organization, a group of people who are completely committed to the belief that the Earth is flat. And so I guess this was, because I don't know the story, but I guess Neil deGrasse Tyson was on the show Nightly News to refute B.O.B.
Yeah. Well, I think B.O.B. did call out deGrasse.
Oh, he called
in his
rap.
Rap, yeah.
Okay, so he called out Tyson as a liar or conspirator. Okay,
and then Tyson had to come back and rebuttal.
All right, so here's his rebuttal.
Yep.
All right, listen, B.O.B. once and for all. The Earth looks flat because, one, you're not far enough away at your size. Two, your size isn't large enough relative to Earth to notice any curvature at all. It's a fundamental fact of calculus and non-Euclidean geometry. Small sections of large curved surfaces will always look flat to little creatures that crawl upon it. But this whole thing, it's just a symptom of a larger problem. There's a growing anti-intellectual strain in this country. It may be the beginning of the end of our informed democracy. Of course, in a free society, you can and should think whatever you want. And if you want to think the world is flat, go right ahead. But if you think the world is flat and you have influence over others, as would successful rappers or even presidential candidates, then being wrong becomes being harmful to the health, the wealth, and the security of our citizenry. Discovery and exploration got us out of the caves, and each generation benefits from what previous generations have learned. Isaac Newton, my man, said, if I have seen farther than others, it's by standing on the shoulders of giants. I get an amen.
Amen.
So that's right, B.O.B. When you stand on the shoulders of those who came before, you might just see far enough to realize the earth isn't flat.
Oh.
And by the way, this is called gravity.
Oh, he just dropped the mic. He just dropped the mic.
Oh yeah, he dropped the mic, right?
Dropped the mic.
Jeez.
Damn.
Where was that? That was on a TV show?
What's the guy's name? I forget the host. He's like a friend of either Jon Stewart or Colbert.
Yeah. The host is...
Larry Wilmore?
Yeah.
He's a non-white colored
non-white, yes.
Yeah.
You are a blasphemer.
It's pretty funny. That's Neil deGrasse Tyson's really trying to make himself popular.
Relevant.
Yeah.
He should run for president. I think he'd make a good candidate.
Trying to be really cool.
Yeah.
Like,
this is called gravity.
And you want to play any of the songs, like B.O.B. or his nephew?
I can play it at the end of the show, but I'm a little concerned about the copyright.
Language.
Yeah. I'm not concerned about
the language. Who cares?
Fuck, motherfuck, bitch!
The copyright.
Heretic. You are a blasphemer.
That's right, Cruz.
Femur. You're a bone.
Blasphemer. You're a femur and your head. So here, I don't know. I think I did some research, and some people actually truly believe that the Earth it's a conspiracy for people to believe that the Earth is round or spherical.
So there's scientific evidence for the world being flat? Is there any?
Well, there is, Ptolemy and his astronomer buddies, a Greek astrologer, Ptolemy, he was able to mathematically prove or justify that the Earth, wasn't flat, but was the center of the universe, right? Geocentric model of planetary.
But what did he use to mathematically or scientifically justify?
I don't know, but he provided a coherent system to justify the observation.
Yeah, that's not that the world is flat. How? So if the world were flat, couldn't you sail in one direction and fall off?
Well, what if it just keeps going on forever?
Yeah, maybe it's eternally flat. Maybe it's an endless amount of land and water.
So maybe there's land out there that we haven't discovered yet.
Yeah, maybe the government doesn't want us to
like Mario Land. So if you go to the right side of the screen, you end up
there. So you go to the end, and then you go back to the other side, the left side, and you keep repeating it over and over again.
That's that's not the world, but that's what some scientists believe is possible in the universe. If you were to keep flying one direction,
maybe you enter a wormhole. Now, if you think about it, what do we know about the Earth being round or flat? Like whatever NASA or the government or news organization or media, whatever they put out there, images of the world being round, those are just images. We haven't gone out there ourselves.
Let's put it this way, but you're a philosopher, so you would say just because you haven't gone out and done something doesn't mean it's not the case, right?
Right. I mean, I haven't gone out there to see for myself whether the Earth is spherical.
Therefore, it's not, right?
No, I'm not saying that would be an appeal to ignorance. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that just because, and would be a fallacy, just because someone says that something is the case doesn't make it the case. So you have a group of scientists who say that the Earth is round. Now, they could be biased authorities. We don't know what kind of agenda they're trying to serve. Maybe they belong to a secret organization, but we just don't really know with utmost certainty who's telling the truth.
Well, okay, so that's what B.O.B. is saying. That's what he's probably claiming in his artistic way.
Maybe it's a philosophical underpinning that don't believe whatever any society says. Or
maybe that's what B.O.B. is trying to say.
Yeah.
Standing up for the people.
Now, but that still...
The little man.
Yeah.
That still belabors the case that just because you didn't go out and do it yourself doesn't mean it isn't the case. Now, if you really wanted to find out if the Earth was flat, just send yourself up in space, right?
And how many people have gone up in space?
That's why we need Tesla. What's his name?
The CEO of Tesla.
Elon Musk.
He's very passionate. Yeah, he's very dedicated.
He probably thinks the Earth is flat.
Probably.
No, I don't think he does. I think his argument is that maybe we're going to privatize space travel, and the layman can find out for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
There you go.
So, do you think the Earth is flat, Stephen?
No, I don't think the Earth is flat.
Why?
Because a lot of smart people tell me that it's not.
Okay, but what if those smart people are lying and they're trying to hide a secret?
There's a universe out there, and we've made a lot of scientific, or let's not say scientific, let's just say logical. We've come to a lot of logical conclusions. We have technology based on the principles of physics. And if we didn't build a knowledge of this system that we use, that we know that governs the physical world, the universe, then we wouldn't have a lot of technology we do right now. Wouldn't be any technological advancements.
Let's stop.
Okay, so what I'm trying to thank you, Cruz. What I'm trying to say is that you could take any physical empirical observation and use that to accommodate any particular theory, any theoretical model to accommodate that piece of evidence. I think, just like Aristotle did and the Greeks and Ptolemy, they're able to use their models to accommodate their observations. So what I'm trying to say is you can't rule out, therefore, that the Earth isn't flat insofar as you're able to justify some model according to our observations.
Yes, I'll agree. So what you could do is continue, and this is what's the scientific method. You're describing the scientific method.
Yeah.
If you're able to produce one model and it is able to predict physical things within the environment, you produce another model. That same model can predict those things as well. If that same model continues to forecast or predict things within the physical environment, it's going to gain its what do you call it? It's just going to gain its backing, right?
Mm-hmm. So it needs to be backed up by, or corroborated by
time and time again. Yeah, corroborated, right? Time and time again, right? Yeah. So it's just a model. You're right. Eventually, maybe that model won't work because it doesn't completely predict everything within the universe, but it could come close to it. You can build off that model. Oh, gee, standing ovation.
Drop the mic.
Is that Cruz out there?
you win. You win.
I did do a couple of those.
Yeah. All right. I got it. So we're gonna play a game, or is it too late?
So what game do we have? Is the Earth round or flat?
Would you rather live on the Earth that's flat or round?
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Okay. Well, would you rather live on the Earth? So this is our game. Would you rather live on a planet that is flat? Now, is it infinitely flat, or is it there are edges? to this flat.
Well, you gotta pick yours.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, go ahead and pick
infinitely flat Earth, or a perfectly round planet Earth. Which one would you prefer to live in? Paul.
You go first, Albert.
But I'm the one that's asking the question. But
Paul asked the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think it would really matter because
hey, come on.
Well, it wouldn't because for me,
pick a side.
All right, if I were
jeez.
all right. Okay. Well, let me say,
Are you with Tyson?
All right, I'm gonna drop the mic and let gravity take its course. I would prefer living in a world that's infinitely flat, because that way you can keep exploring new possibilities. And you can have Indians have their own land and white militants have their land. There'd be an infinite amount of land for everyone to occupy.
Giant islands and continents.
Yeah, you can raise your cattle here. You can have your tribesmen over here. Philosopher groups here occupying their own territory, creating their own little settlement. And
Philosophania.
Philosophania.
Well, what if he just drops off and there's limited?
No, this is infinitely flat. So this is the game, infinitely flat, and you could keep jogging. Like Forrest Gump and where Tom Hanks, he keeps running and running. There would be no end. He'd just keep on running.
I just kept running.
Now, if it were flat or round, I think he wouldn't notice because he would just be going in circles. That's why I was going to say there's no difference in terms of running and trying to hit the edge. You would never know.
Maybe Mario Land again.
Or
Mario Land effect.
Yeah, so that's my response. I think an infinitely flat Earth would be nice.
Well, you just don't know, Albert. You're not really paying attention. You're not broadening your mind. And the citizenry of the world would be lost without knowing that what is really up there is an infinite universe. And it's a spherical. And if you keep going up and straight up, you'd eventually find the nearest star. And the nearest star would be powered by fusion. And if we have fusion, we're melding two atoms into one.
Burning in my chest.
All right, we know you're smart. Just stop talking.
Yeah, shut up, you arrogant.
And this is called gravity. Let me
I liked Interstellar.
Oh, speaking of Interstellar. So is that your answer?
That's my answer.
That's your answer via deGrasse?
Tyson.
So Kip Thorne, I saw Kip Thorne at the...
you have to tell us how that all went.
Yeah. It was all right. It was a really... Kip Thorne was interesting. He was probably the most entertaining of the bunch. One of them couldn't make it because of the storms on the East Coast with the blizzards.
Sure. They just didn't want to see Krause.
Yeah, he was annoying. He was very annoying.
That jowl.
I had the question. They didn't get my question that Paul wrote.
Did you ask it?
I did ask it. I wrote it down, and they have to pick questions from the audience.
What was it again?
So they had to read it?
Yeah, they had to read it. But the questions that were asked by the audience were very, they were just more related to Einstein and stuff like that.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, boring things. So
is it on YouTube?
Not yet. I'll let you guys know when.
Okay.
But I talked to Kip Thorne briefly, and I asked him, so are you planning on writing any more movies? And he said, yep, I'm already working on a movie with, I can't remember the director, but and I asked him, well, was it the same science or different? He said, completely different. It'll be very, very interesting, I think.
Is he ready to be blasted by Krause again?
That's what I really wanted to ask him.
Science was miserable.
The science was miserable. Horrible. By the way, do you know that Lawrence Krauss, the guy right there next to you, he hates your movie? He thinks it's scientifically implausible?
We got to get that clip again. He was really upset.
Yeah. But they were showing clips from the film, and Krauss wasn't afraid to express his disapproval. So he was still.
So what did Kip do about it? Was he okay with being?
Yeah, he's a
torn apart.
He's a humble guy. He didn't really respond. No, He was kind of just laughing, and the crowd was laughing, but Krauss doesn't really explain why it's implausible. He's just saying, okay,
He's just really ranting. Happen. Look at me.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
I just want to see, like, how could someone not really defend themselves against such harsh criticism?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think Kip Thorne just is a sweet guy and very humble. And
did he know that he made fun of him like that?
Well, unless they've already talked about it in person, they're great friends, and they figured, I'm used to it. I don't know.
That's probably how it is in the scientific community. They're used to all being, told that they're wrong.
Yeah.
But
they just.
Yeah.
But I want to ask about this.
So what's bothersome about that is how Krauss can be so
loudmouth,
insulting to philosophy, religion, obnoxious about other fields that aren't scientific. He's criticizing fields that don't aim for truth, or they don't have valid methods for establishing truth or finding agreement. But here we have a group of scientists who don't agree on one and the same thing based on facts or empirical observations. So I think it's self-defeating or contradictory or inconsistent on his part.
Well, they got to compete for attention. He views it as, this is one of my colleagues and my ideas are just that much better.
But it's like him saying, well, Kip believes that 2 + 2 = 4, and that's just stupid. I think it's 2 + 3 = 5.
But that was just a movie. That wasn't even scientific proof for evidence.
He was using scientific theories that's agreed upon based on Einstein principles of relativity to use and apply in actual.
No, he wasn't trying to prove Einstein's theories through a movie. He was just trying to make a movie.
No, he was trying to use Einstein's science in the movie.
And there's some validity to the things that you see in the movie. It wasn't completely off the wheel or off the chain or whatever.
But that's what Krauss said, that it was.
Krauss thinks it was crazy.
It was close, but it wasn't exact.
He said it was...
No, he said it was miserable.
Scientific, it was miserable, right? The Gray says it 8 or 9 out of 10, and Krauss says it's just off the charts.
Yeah, Krauss is just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. That would have been interesting. I was hoping. I really thought that, especially Krauss being the center of attention, I thought he would love that question. Like, oh, this is about me. Okay.
He probably just didn't. He didn't want to be rude to his guests, as anything.
Maybe.
I mean, he had to look after his image for Arizona State.
Yeah. Plus, the question was it was critical. It was attacking him. It was indirectly attacking him. So
they didn't want controversy. Not live, at least.
But I want to ask about this.
All right. I think...
so we've exhausted this episode.
Yes. The usual.
Yeah.
The militia episode.
Yeah,
a lot of malicious stuff.
Yeah. Very, very depressing because the United States is majority racist.
Like, nobody wants to think back on, the Native Americans being displaced and killed and massacred.
No.
Just ignore that, throw it under the rug. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's make this an issue about the white guys.
Let's focus on terrorists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's stop.
Thank you, Cruz.
Cruz, he's been a good advocate for us.
Let's stop.
Very reasonable.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining me this late afternoon.
Okay. Very good.
This was a fruitful episode.
This is now lunchtime for us.
I know.
It's the usual lunch time that we eat.
Forgot to ask Paul about his ballin'. How was his ball?
How was your ballin'?
Did you ball hard?
Played some ball.
You played some good ball?
Mm-hmm.
Did somebody say
you drop your balls?
No, because I didn't have a nice car.
That's true.
Yeah. But Steven has a new car now.
A new car.
Yeah.
You be ballin'.
You be ballin'.
Well, I have, like I told you guys, there's a basketball in the car, so I do play basketball.
So technically, you are balling.
I am.
Because you got that damn ball in your car. And you got balls in your pants, so you're triple balling.
Triple balling.
Yeah.
And with the new car, quadruple balling.
Yeah. You're balling in all sorts of ways.
You might die.
Alrighty. You might die. I'm just glad that the president was not lying out of his pie hole.
See, don't you respect
I do.
Mr.
I do.
there?
I do.
He's very reasonable, practical, speaks the truth. Just needs a little more sleep.
Yeah, get your sleep.
Needs a little more sleep.
Yeah. Don't suck any soot.
Watch out with the soot.
All right.
More sleep.
Alrighty. With all that soot in my chest, this is ASP Stuff Radio. We are all stuffed up.
Bernie Sanders.
Flat Earth is a problem only when people in charge think that way. No law stops you from regressively basking in it.
He learned the game from Carl Sagan. You can never check him. You say the earth is flat and then you try to disrespect him. I'm bringing facts to combat a silly theory because B.O.B. has gotta know the planet is a sphere, G. Whoa. Very important that I clear this up. You say that Neil's vest is what he needs to loosen up. What? And he's a Mason cause the brother's getting paid when the ignorance you're spitting helps to keep people enslaved. I mean mentally. You gon' make me go insane. I've already stepped out of the fast lane. You the donkey of the day, I ain't waiting for Charlemagne. And all them strange clouds must be messing with your brain. I ain't waiting for days, Bob, I'm right here. I got science in my corner and there's nothing to fear. I'm not sure what it was that really made you think that you could disrespect the Tyson and your ship won't sink. I mean, whoa, can't fool the people, Bob, they know what's up. I'm in the Hayden Planetarium getting shoulder rubs. I think it's very clear that Bobby didn't read enough. And he's believing all this conspiracy theory stuff. Are these all of your thoughts or is the loud talking? I'm a high flyer, but you must be cloud walking. And I know Bobby Ray's a great musician with intelligence to say some better shit than what he's written. Damn. Yeah, guitar strings turned to Twitter things. Ooh. Yeah, you getting bodied by a young king. I'm far from famous, but I got an education. And I'm putting it to use to make a better nation. I'm making sure you get it when it's said and done. Ooh. Because the track is just a one of one. I could make another one and then another one. The DJ Khaled of teaching Bobby about the sun. Bobby Ray's thinking that flat is fact. Yeah, that flat is fact. Bobby Ray's thinking that flat is fact. Yeah, but we'll go from flat to fact. I don't wanna hear about this ever again. Not even when this ends and we're better as friends. Not even when they're saying Tyson, tell them again. And we'll put you on a show to make a sellout event. Whoa, what about the change of seasons? The planet spins around the sun, do you need more reasons? It's very clear you're rapping for fame, while I represent the culture and the spirit we claim. I mean, please, check them for a wow or an earpiece, please. Is Donald Trump the one that's feeding you all of these stupid bits of information keeps you on your knees? I know we got freedom of speech, but Bobby, please, somebody stop this, or call the drop squad, because they got this. And maybe they can pick up Stacey Dash too. So if you're ignorant, here's what they gon' ask. They gon' ask if you can play this track back to back. Bars. Yeah, it's going back to back. I had to help Bobby go from flat to fact. Took a break from my debut and now it's back to that.
Dude.
Show the truth! Bernie Sanders.
It's Saturday. What was that? You already get your snot out of your nose. All right.